Hello there. Good evening. Um, Much to my dismay, I must continue to talk about the COVID because it's still a relevant problem in today's society, and there's a lot of things about it that a person of with a modicum of intelligence could figure out on their own. So I don't see how censoring my videos in any way, shape, or form is actually detrimental to me whatsoever, let alone public opinion. A lot of other people can come up with the same conclusions I have, and they will not make YouTube videos about it. And I've made mention of this before. Excuse me for one moment. Okay, so BC has had a huge spike in the last few days of COVID 19 cases. We're nearing the 200 fatality death mark, which is obviously, something we would prefer to have prevented. However, things that they are. I don't actually believe the mainstream story, and I don't believe the artificial subculture story of COVID either. There might be a huge spike in cases. Some people go, "Whoa, they're doing more testing now, blah, 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 blah." But the truth is, there has to be a higher statistical information about COVID 19. A number, more than a number, a significant number of businesses have lost a lot of money because of COVID 19, if not completely shut down. And the government has to answer to this. And what's the best way of doing that? Inflate the figures. Tell people it's worse than what it is. Distort it. And the justification is not to only save their own bacon, but also to, you know, keep in the back of the mind of people that there is a significant problem going on. They don't want to tell you what that problem is, so they've dumbed it down as hard as they can, like they do with everything, because they assume people don't have the brain power to figure things out for themselves. Studying and research. Remember that. They're two different things. Um, so yeah, we got a huge number of cases that are flaring up. They're saying in September there's going to be a second wave, blah blah blah, and it's like, is Justin Trudeau and the Canadian government opening the door intentionally to this to downgrade? I'd like to say eliminate a potential worse threat from the communist country known as China, where the virus originally came from. I've already explained that they already have laboratories. They've had them for some time. Unit 731 kind of stuff for decades, if not hundreds of years, specifically designing germ, bacterial, viral warfare. And is this a sign of Western weakness, that it's going to cow down to the interests of Asia because some people are of a different opinion to those who want to have a hardline stance against China, what any rational person would do, unless you're what the supposed left is, and I say quote unquote on that, because the left, if you watch the media or anything like that, it's a completely screwed up situation. Karl Marx would be spitting in his grave. I probably said that before as well, many times actually. Actually, quite reminiscent on that thought. But anyway, there's reasons to lie. There's never a good reason to lie, but there are reasons. And the government is not solving the problem. They're delaying future problems by, what's the word for it? Well, kowtowing to the demands of Asia and their trade apparatus, which is detrimental to the earth, and we're roped into that system. Recently, they said climate change is, it's always been a topic, that a huge chunk of ice from the Arctic collapsed, and it was the size of Vancouver. How do we know that wasn't a man-made explosion? How do we know? What if they go, well, it's melting anyway, let's have a look inside because the Chinese undetectable nuclear submarines have been putting stuff in there, we want to have a look. Or maybe it was the Chinese themselves who did it. We don't know. Because it holds many secrets and past relics of historical importance to it. There are archaeological treasures in the Arctic and also in Antarctica. But it wouldn't have such a big impact if it was Antarctica. It has to be the Arctic because that's where the Western powers are, drawing in. That's where the Chinese government is trying to get a seat on the Arctic Council. Even though they have no business having one, they're not in the northern hemisphere. Not far enough anyway. But, the Chinese government has some way of, when they make a demand, when they ask for something, it's a demand. And when they make a demand, they expect it to happen. If they don't happen, they get angry and yada, yada, yada. They're OCD about it, blah, blah, blah. You can't give them a bag of peanuts. They want the whole factory afterwards. All that kind of bullshit. And, bureaucrats and the government are the first to say zero tolerance to this, zero tolerance to this. But it looks like you're tolerating a whole bunch of bullshit right there, aren't you? Except when it comes to the peon of an average everyday citizen, then you crack the whip like you wouldn't believe. But you do it in such a way that it's like, no, it's their fault. Oh no, this man is drinking alcohol. And sometimes he gets surly. But that's the worst problem in the world, isn't it? Bunch of hypocritical, stupid cunts who can't do anything right. You're a bunch of fuck-ups. How come you didn't fucking think of this fucking decades ago? Fucking idiots running the country. And they always think they're right. And when they're wrong, they disguise the fact that they're wrong. And then when it becomes so blatantly obvious that they're wrong to everybody, then they start to act crazy. All you would need is a half pound of feathers to outsmart some of those fucking people who like to call themselves experts. Yeah. What else can you add to that, really? It's an embarrassing situation that we're compromised by a dirty, backwatered, pathetic fucking country such as China that has no other option other to enslave its own population, poison everything within that country, be so blatantly obvious of all of its imperfections, and our government actually covers that up and looks the other way. And pretends it's not happening, and it's a private conversation between the government and them, and this is the public image they want for their local populace. And it's like, your lie is so pathetic. Like, are you a complete bunch of retards or what? I mean, I might have elaborated a little bit further into what I believe is going on. Of course, if somebody can prove me wrong, I'd be happy to hear it, and I don't want to see a bunch of links to a bunch of government-sanctioned websites promoting the government position on this. I would like to see a real answer to it. And I don't think anyone's going to say anything. It's because they don't want to say anything. I'm sure they know fuck well is what I'm saying is the truth. And, they don't have a proper rebuttal for it. So they'll try and tease me out of my opinion. They'll try and go, but in reality, they have nothing to say. So I'm going to finish off this video with one last thing. Ryan Reynolds, he made a tweet or something like that, based on what John Horgan said, to try and promote youths from partying and things like that. Ryan Reynolds said that something along the lines of, please don't kill my mom by spreading COVID-19, yada, yada, yada. I'm not a sinister or a sadistical person. I'm not malevolent. I simply am. And I don't want Ryan Reynolds' mother to die from COVID-19. I want Ryan Reynolds to die from COVID-19 and his mother to die from anguish because of Ryan Reynolds dying from COVID-19. So, yeah, I'm going to finish off my video with that. And anyone doesn't like my opinion, cheers.